Going in for a colonoscopy and having an autoimmune disease? Let's get into it. Hey, this is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back with Chronic Wellness. Autoimmune diseases complicate many things, and particularly for autoimmune diseases that affect the bowel, but also just the complexities of aging, mean that at some point you will probably have to have a colonoscopy. Now, what I'm about to say is not in any way meant to take place of getting your doctor's input. I am not a doctor, and you should not take medical advice from me. But I am a person living with complex autoimmune disease who has just completed her 8th colonoscopy, so I do have some experience. So it is from that experience that I mean to talk to you today. And what my experience tells me is several things. In advance of your colonoscopy, there are some things you can do to help make the whole ordeal go a bit more smoothly. And the first one I want to talk to you about is food. So your gastroenterologist, that office is going to give you a long set of instructions that you need to follow, probably starting 7 days before your colonoscopy, including things like don't eat nuts and seeds, cut out fibrous vegetables, maybe including things like broccoli and onions at different points along the week leading up to your colonoscopy. It can be daunting. What you need to know is that at some point along that week, you're going to be really limited down to things like clear liquids, broths, jello of certain colors, and keeping enough calories and nutrients going into your body really matters. And so you shouldn't wait until the day of to be looking around the kitchen going, I don't have any of these things. And then you are hungry and unresourced. Start in advance. Prep. Think ahead about what you're going to need. Shop for the event. And make sure that you have on your shelves some broth, a way to get protein. And for me, that meant that even if I was just having the packet of ramen, that I was supplementing it with things like collagen powder to make sure that it was amped up with protein. And while maybe you don't enjoy jello, it does have gelatin in it, which is protein. And so thinking ahead about the quality of nutrients and the food that you're getting in the days leading up to your colonoscopy is going to keep you from being unresourced at the time of the colonoscopy. Pretty important. Additionally, making sure that at the time you're going through the process with your doctors, you are disclosing all of your conditions and all of your medications. And there are some medications that they're going to have to ask you to lay off in advance of the colonoscopy, or there may be, depending on what you're on. And sometimes those medications, like blood thinners or statins, you may have to talk to other specialists to see if you can stop them. And so it is a multi-layered process in order to get it right. So be very thoughtful and check in with all the right docs to make sure that you've got the right information. Now, for many of us who have autoimmune disease, those diseases impact our connective tissue and impact our circulation. So I don't know about you, but I am cold almost all the time, all except for the hottest of summer days. And so I call ahead to my surgical center and let them know that, because anytime I am in any kind of OR or any kind of medical setting, I'm typically freezing. Now add to that I'm going to be disrobed, they're going to have fluids going through me, I'm going to have fluids moving up inside my bowel. I'm going to be cold. And so, of course, there are going to be the options of warm blankets, But I ask them if they have the bear hug suit. Now that's the suit where a tube plugs into what the paper gown you're wearing, and you get warm air circulating on you at all times. So call ahead and say, look, I have a circulatory issue. I'm going to be cold. How can you keep me warm from the moment I get there? Additionally, I take with me those little electric hand warmers that I've shown here before, and just hold those. Perhaps you have poor veins from all that's been done to us, or high-dose prednisone for a long time. You're going to also want to talk to your nursing staff about where the best place to catch a vein is. And if you have a port, oftentimes you're going to need to disclose that in advance so that they can have a port nurse there to access your port if that is the way that you want to receive medications. Additionally, considering the anesthesia is sometimes very important for us, and talking in advance about what medications are going to be used to anesthetize us for the process. And finally, I think many times we're not told the fact that drinking these medications that cause us to eliminate so quickly will often cause nausea. And so when you are offered a bowel prep kit, the thing that helps you be ready for the colonoscopy, you can say, what if these bowel prep kits make me nauseous? And be prescribed anti-nausea medications to take at home, so that if they do cause you nausea, you have a way to manage that if you don't already have anti-nausea drugs in your arsenal at home. And I highly recommend it, because there's nothing worse than prepping yourself for a colonoscopy and then also being nauseous on top of that. So managing our pre-existing multi-layered conditions is tricky when getting a colonoscopy, but it's not impossible. And the point of the meds for getting a colonoscopy is to help us maintain hydration while we are eliminating at such high quantities. So be careful about continuing your intake of liquids so that you don't get dehydrated, and ask lots of questions if this is a process you haven't been through before. All right, it's entirely possible. It's not altogether pleasant, but you've got this. And if you have tips or tricks for how to navigate a colonoscopy with complex autoimmune diseases, please leave it in one of the comments on our socials or here at YouTube. And I'm sure grateful for your participation and your attention. Until we're together again, thank you and good luck.